This is season 1, episode 13, and today we are interviewing Elder Olenslager from the Idaho Soda Springs service mission. And I don't know much about his story because he wasn't in the service mission when I was. And so, Elder Olenslager, I'm just going to turn the time over to you and you can introduce yourself, where you're from, etc.
Sweet. I'm Elder Olenslager. I'm from Thane, Wyoming, which is in Star Valley. I enjoy just doing outdoor stuff. And the story of my transfer is when probably it started about a year ago. Me and my buddy joked around about how we were never going to be teaching missionaries. We were just going to do service missions, and that was a plan. And then we found out a little bit more about it, and we're like, nah, I don't know if we'll do a mission. And then I talked to my seminary teacher. His name was Adam Allman, and he said, "Why not?" And it got me thinking, why not give 2 years of forever? Who knows what else I could do? Who knows what it could put me on? So I decided that's it. And I started doing my papers. And as I did so, I just had like huge spiritual promptings, like, this is what it is. You know what you're doing's right. And I just felt really good about it. And then I got the call to Seattle, Washington, and I was not as happy as I thought I was going to be. But I decided this is where they need me. So I'm going to go and I'm going to be happy about it. And as I was getting ready for it, I didn't really notice it, but my family, like when we would go camping and stuff, would notice that I wasn't the full happy me. And I never really noticed it. And so and that was kind of a prelude to the depression episode that I was going to get. And as I was getting ready for it, I kept going. Felt good about it. And then I hit home MTC. And I'm not very good with technology and stuff like that. And that was like the first punch of the face of depression, I would say. It was hard. I would sit there just in a room with no windows, or it felt like, and just stare at a screen all day. And it was hard. I had one of the times I told my mom, I was like, I can't do it. There's no way I'll be able to do it. And she said, you'll get it. Just say a prayer. So I said a prayer with probably the most true intent I've ever said, and just asked for help that I can get through it and make it work. And then it worked. I was able to continue the last couple of days home MTC, go to Provo and do that. It was great. I loved it. So glad I did it. And then I got to Seattle, and then as a first week in the field, you don't really feel anything except for confusion, trying to figure out schedule, who you're teaching, and all that. So as I was there, when I first got there, I got whitewashed into my area. So we had no food in our freezer or our fridge, and it was super late. So that was pretty rough for the first day. And then for the first week, it was just, yeah, like I said, a lot of confusion. You just kind of walk around trying to find a teaching pool, just going on. And then the second week, it was the same thing. I was there for like 4 months, I think. I started November. I was there till February, March. I can't really remember. But as I was there, I just didn't feel myself. Didn't really know what it was. I remember the depression from home MTC, but I didn't know what it truly was. I just noticed there was something off. And as I went, one of the nights, I stayed up late. I don't even remember why. I couldn't sleep or something. And I broke down. I broke. I like, whatever I'm doing is not working. I broke mission rules, and I called my mom and I told her, I can't do it. There's no way I'm going to be able to do this. I can't even hardly get out of bed, let alone teach with the Spirit. And she told me it's all right. We said another prayer together. And after that, I felt like, I don't know, a burst of energy. And she said, what? And then I think it was the same week I had an interview with my mission president. And he asked me, how's everything going? And I was still new. So I said, it's going. Every time someone would ask me, I'd just say it was going. I couldn't lie and say, oh, it's going great. But I didn't want to like say, oh, it's going terrible, and make them like want to baby me. It felt like if I said I was going terrible, they were just going to swarm me and make me be their project to make me feel better. And and then he looked me in the eyes and said, "How is it really going, Elder?" And I broke down and I said, "Not good. I can't hardly wake up on time, go out. I can't do anything." And he said, and I told him I was suffering from depression. And I said, I broke rules. I called my mom. I couldn't do it. It was 11 o'clock and I just had to call her. I couldn't sleep. I just knew I couldn't do it. And I remember he reached over and gave me a hug.
Mm.
And I felt so happy after that. I was like, he understands it. He knows how to help me. So we kept going. And that was the first transfer. And it wasn't till about the second, and then I kept going, and the depression just kept, it never loosened. And I would call him almost once a week and just say, "President, it's not loosening. I got to do something." And he said, "Okay." And he recommended a counselor, and I said, "It's worth a shot. What I'm doing now is not working." So I tried a counselor, and it helped, but it didn't help. It was like, okay, I know what's wrong and I know how to fix it, but it's not here. It's an immediate fix. And I was really hoping for that immediate fix.
Mhm.
And after another transfer and some bit, my counselor and my mission president both asked, "Have you ever heard of a service mission?" And I looked at him and I said, "Yeah, me and my buddy joked about it to say that was how we could serve a mission together. But we don't really know a whole lot about it." And he said, "I think it could be really good help to you." And I started looking into it, and our mission had merged. So the service missions came to all of our activities as a teaching mission. And there was an Elder Billings, is his name. And I talked to him, and he came home. He was a transfer missionary, but for similar mental health reasons. And I just asked him like, "Hey, what do you do? How does this work?" And he told me like, "You just serve in your community. You just wake up and you do what you can do." Some missionaries like do technology things, some do temples, some do storehouse. And I just like that sounded great. Like I had a burning in my bosom, as the scriptures explain, and it just warmed me up. And I didn't know like what, but I knew that I needed to do that. I don't know what it was going to work, but I just knew that that's what I needed. And I did that, and then I called my mission president, or no, it was at transfers, and I walked over to him and I told him, "President, I think I need to do that service mission you were talking about. I've fasted and prayed about it, and this is what I need to do. I know this is where my mission needs to go, and or else I don't know if I'll be able to keep serving." And again, he gave me a giant hug and he said, "Okay, then let's do it." And that was there. And then it was probably another week before I got my flight home. And that week was a great week. I remember I was still not happy. I still was in that depressed episode. I was still depressed, but I could like have a sense of work. Like, I'm going to go out with a boom. They're going to remember me as the one who finally got to work. And like, I get to be the one that like helps realign this area. And there, during that last 2 weeks I was there, we had a young girl who was about 9, whose mom came up to her and said she wanted to be baptized. And I just was like, dang, of course, now's the time I go, you know? And it was just so cool. Like, I finally had that like sense of purpose. And I knew I knew my plan. I knew the path I was going to go, and it helped me have some inner peace about, okay, I know what I can do, so let's focus on both instead of focus on the thousands of I don't knows.
Mhm.
Focus on the 2 knows. And it really helped. And then as I got home, I just remember it was great. I never imagined I was like, "Oh, I'll come home and there's going to be a big banner and everyone's going to say, 'Oh, hey, Elder, like give a hug.'" but when I got there, it was my mom, and she'd been with me the whole time, and it was great just to see her again. And we got home, and then all of a sudden I got some friend requests from the service missionaries. I was like, wow, these guys are fast. How do they know I'm already home? I haven't even talked to them yet. And I didn't know. And then I got home on the Tuesday. And then that same Thursday, I went with or no, Wednesday. I didn't go with the mission that Thursday. But Wednesday, I went and shoveled the roof with them. I was like, where have I been the whole time? Why did I ever go to Seattle? And now that I've come back and I've looked back, I know why. It was to help me learn and understand what I needed to do. And and so far that transfer's been great with helping other people, being able to help my mom and my family when they need it, stuff. It's really good.
That's amazing. I find so many aspects of your story very relatable to my own, like calling your mission president like once a week and being like, bro, this isn't working out. Like,
Yeah.
it's really hard. It's not going anywhere. And then like meeting with a counselor and then kind of feeling that relief when you like were told that you were going to go home. I didn't know I was going to do a transfer or a service mission before I transferred. But I just kind of, when my mission president called me, I was just like, oh, like this, I felt like I was going in the right direction. So that's really cool. Um, what kind of services do you do now as a service missionary?
Yeah, so Mondays and Fridays I work in the temple, and then the other days of the week I just help around my community. I kind of just find service. So like this last week was fair, so I've been helping my family like with their animal projects. And then sometimes I help like widows or with if they need like lawn mowed, I just kind of look for it, help some ranchers that's in the area, help them with stuff, but mostly just that, like the temple and then just find my own service.
That's amazing. I love that. I love that it's so open-ended. Because I think from my experience and from what I've heard from other people, they kind of have like a set schedule during the week, but like you and Elder Fowler, you guys just go out and like Elder Fowler was like doing proselyting, like just knocking people's doors and just seeing who needed help that day. So I think
Yeah.
that's really cool that you get to kind of have that flexibility and yeah, get to help your family out. That's really cool. Do you still, you don't have to share this if you don't want to, but do you still do therapy? Did you continue with therapy into your service mission?
Yeah, so I've continued for the last, I think I've been home like 4 or 5 months.
Hmm.
And I do it once a month, and I haven't done it for the last couple of months because what I've been doing has been helping. So we're on like me and my therapist, like we're like what we're doing is helping. And I don't know if like last week or the last time I went, it was like 20 minutes
Hmm.
because I was like, I don't have any questions. And he was like, well, if you don't have any questions, I can only help you so much. Like,
Hmm.
if you don't have anything that for me to help you with, then I don't know what we're doing. So we're on like a thing like when he comes back down to the valley, he's gonna ask like, hey, do you need to meet? And so right now I'm not like I don't think I'll need to meet, but when I first got home, it really helped me like keep that slight bit of routine that I was going when I was in the teaching. So that helped like not necessarily like help the transfer, but it did help the transfer. Like I still have this part the
Hmm.
same as the last.
Hmm. That totally makes sense. That's really good. That's awesome that you've been able to kind of lean less off of that. Although therapy is good and it's very helpful, but that's cool that you've been able to kind of find healing and move on. So that's awesome. Um, how have you felt the hand of the Lord in your mission process?
Every day from the whole being able to like my mission president embracing me was definitely the hand of the Lord. Like my family being there and like the Lancasters, everyone I think has just been such a hand the hand of the Lord in my life, just showing like, hey, this is all right. This isn't weird to do. This is okay.
Mhm. Yeah, that can be something that's hard to come to terms with, that um it it's a normal mission. It's not lesser than or less important than a proselyting mission, but that both are very needed in today's
Yeah, absolutely.
cool. Well, do you have a mission scripture or just a scripture that means a lot to you, that has helped you or that has helped you during your mission?
Yeah. So when I was first, like while I was transferring, I read, oh no, I just, so when I was transferring, we went over to someone's house to help them. They'd just been called the Relief Society president. And there was a quote and a scripture that we read to help them. And I can't remember who said the quote, but the quote is, the Lord doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called.
Mhm.
And that was like, yeah, he's going to qualify me, whatever I'm going to do. Like, he's not going to leave me high and dry. He's going to take me to this where I need to be. And then Ether 1227, I don't have it fully memorized. And I don't know if I can do it on the phone, like while we're doing Zoom, but it goes, it's along the lines of, talk to the Lord about your, uh, or I can't remember what it is. Going unto the Lord and like be humble, and He will show you your imperfections and how you can be better if you humble yourself unto Him. Along the lines of just like ask Him and He'll help you.
Mhm. Absolutely. I love that so much. The the Lord definitely qualifies the called, because we come from a place of maybe not knowing exactly what we're supposed to be doing as missionaries, but then as we, try to be obedient and do his will, like he teaches us what we need to do. That's really cool. Thank you so much. Um, would you do you have any words of advice for anyone that is struggling with depression and anxiety as missionaries, or has transferred from a proselyting mission to a service mission?
If I'd say like you're not alone, and don't think that you're alone. Like there's lots of us who've transferred, and there's lots of people who haven't transferred that suffer from depression and anxiety. Like just find help, and it's not weird to find help, especially as like the elder or the men's side point, like the stigma of not getting help, like just fight through it. I tried to fight through it, and I don't know if it magnified it, but it didn't make it better.
Hmm.
And when I got help, it was weird at first, like sitting down on Zoom in a church meeting or in a church house and like saying all these things about your feelings. That was weird. But after you got over the weird, it really helped. And so I'd say, like, don't be afraid to like ask for help.
Absolutely. Those are wise words of wisdom. I would agree with that. Um, and if you have anything else, would you mind just sharing your testimony with us, and then we'll bring it to a close?
And you bet. Uh, my testimony is I know that this church is the true church, that we are doing what the Lord has asked us to do. He has a plan for us, and it is our specific plan. He knows what we are going to do, and that you are a help to His plan and His purpose. You are sent, each one of us is sent here to help ourselves and someone else. And that as we go through and grow our testimony, that we can help others in our testimony growth. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.